Welcome to the Complete Story Series, where I take trade paperbacks and single issues and I break them down into digestible bites to help you understand. Today, you have found yourself on Comicstorian, and you have found yourself on a Scooby Apocalypse storyline. Long story short, this is a retelling of the Scooby-Doo gang and what they do, in a world where the entire world has been overrun by nanites turning everyone into monsters. We have a whole playlist following this story. Check it out down below, and I hope you enjoy Scooby Apocalypse, whatever chapter we're on. When we last left off, the gang had made it to a nice and quiet town, except that Cliffy walked to a window and looked out, seeing a movie theater showing the invasion of the body snatchers. As he read it, he began to have a sinking feeling that maybe they weren't safe at all. Later that night, the sheriff brings everyone out and says that they are free to walk around the town. They have a welcoming party in the high school gym at 8 so they can meet with the folks. Shaggy tells him that he's a bit confused. First you brought us in here at gunpoint, and now you're treating us like family? It's so hard to let my guard down and trust anyone. Daisy says that maybe that's exactly what they need to do. Just trust that this will all work out. And the sheriff says that he likes what he hears. They will see them all later at the shindig tonight. Shaggy tells him, "Sure thing!" And Daphne says, "Sure thing. Are we just going to accept all of this?" Fred says that that is the first bit of kindness and hospitality that they've seen in months. Yes, they are going to accept this. Velma then says, how about they all just take a deep breath and accept the gestures, but keep their observant and alert nature for possible danger. Cliffy tells Velma that if she's looking for the weird, how about the fact that they are in Montana in November and it's warm? Daphne yells, "That proves it, there's something going on here. I don't know what it is, but I'm going to get to the bottom of it." While everyone continues to argue whether they should stay or go, Cliffy looks away and sees a young girl waving at him. Cliffy walks over and the young girl says that she's the first kid like him that she's seen in a long time. Her name is Carrie, delighted to meet him. As Cliffy kinda backs away, Carrie asks, "What, are you scared of girls? I won't bite." And Cliffy yells that he's not afraid of girls, but he's seen some crazy stuff. She wouldn't happen. But Carrie stops him, pointing over at the others, stating, "Can you tell me about your family? They look like nice people." Cliffy says that they're not his family, though maybe they are now. His real family is, well, those people are nice. Except for the redhead. She's kind of crazy. Carrie then says that that's not true. She's just scared and trying to cover it up by acting braver than she actually is. Sometimes she can just tell these things. As Carrie looks back, she notices Cliffy's missing arm and shouts, "Oh no, what happened?" And Cliffy says that he lost it when the monsters came for him and his family. Carrie smiles, telling him not to worry, she can fix it, see? She waves her arm, and Cliffy begins to see a sparkling green light. And in the place of where his arm used to be, one magically starts to appear. Cliffy screams at the sight, asking what did she do, and Carrie says that she doesn't understand. Why is he upset? She helped him. And Cliffy yells that this is not his arm. And Carrie says, "Of course it's not. I can't regrow the old one, so I molded on a new one out of your memories." Cliffy yells for her to just get away from him, and Carrie turns crying, running into a back alleyway. Everyone runs over to Cliffy asking what's wrong, and he explains what happened. And while everyone makes sure that Cliffy is okay, Shaggy looks around, stating that judging by the looks of the crowd, they might want to leave. The sheriff walks up through the crowd, stating, "All right, folks, get your things together. Get out of the town." Fred says that he doesn't understand, and the sheriff says that he's going to make it clear if they don't leave town in the next few minutes, they're going to be shot where they stand. A few moments later, the gang walks out of town, stating that that was very strange. What exactly did they do to offend them? While everyone starts to come up with their theories, Cliffy decides that something seemed off about Carrie, and he heads back in. As he gets back, he sees that the town is empty. All of the people that were just walking around are gone. Cliffy walks through the town and he stops in the movie theater, and Carrie calls out to him, telling him that it was his favorite movie. He would watch it over and over again, scaring the heck out of himself, and she would pretend to like it so that she could stay with him. Her father died when she was young, and her mother always wanted to work 2 to 3 jobs, so she was always alone. And she's sorry about his arm. She was just trying to help. Cliffy says, yeah, he knows that now. It just really frightened him. Carrie jumps off the building, telling him, yeah, he really made her mad, telling her to get away. That's why she chased him and his friends out of town. She just thought that she could have a real friend. After everything, she thought she was alone. The only visitors that they get are the monsters, time to time. Cliffy says that the sheriff said that there weren't any monsters here. He and Carrie stop, stating that they come, and when she gets through with them, they don't stay very long. But all that matters is that he's back, and they don't need any stupid grown-ups. The two of them can have so much fun together. Cliffy starts to look around and asks, what about the adults? It's so empty here. And Carrie tells him that it's always been that way. All those people are in her head. She can just think them and poof, there they are. Cliffy asks how is that even possible, and Carrie says that it started a few months ago when everything bad started to happen. The town changed and so did she. Because they're so vicious and nasty, she made them all go away. And when she was the only one left, she made a new town. The problem is, no matter how much she pretended, they just aren't real. They aren't. Cliffy says so the nanites didn't turn her into a monster, instead they gave her powers. Carrie snubs her nose, telling him that it doesn't matter, he's here, and together they'll make the town into anything that they want, so they can just forget all about the others. Cliffy says that he can't leave his friends, they're like his family now, and Carrie yells that she can make him a better family, heck, she can bring back his old family. Cliffy tells her no, she can't do that, if she did it would all be fake. How does he even know that she's real? Carrie turns to leave and asks why did he even come back, and Cliffy says that he's not sure. Maybe he was curious, maybe he just felt bad. Maybe she can come with them. Carrie says that she can't do that. It'd be better if they stayed here because of the monsters. Most of them are bad, and Cliffy tells her, wait a second, all monsters are bad. Carrie sighs and turns away, stating that it sounds like he hates them. And Cliffy yells, of course he hates them, they killed his family. Carrie then asks him, what about the good ones? And Cliffy asks, did you just hear me? There are no good ones. She turns to leave, asking if she's an illusion. Well, once she turns back, she reveals her true form. Zombie-like form, stating that this is the real her. If he wants to run away, do it. Run away from the terrible monster. Find his friends and hunt her down. Cliffy tells her that he would never do that. Maybe the nanites changed the way that she looks, but it doesn't mean she's bad, she's just different. And just then, Daphne and the others call out to Cliffy, telling him to get away from that monster. Cliffy shouts, stating, don't hurt her! She can explain everything, But Carrie tells Cliffy, goodbye, and thank you. Cliffy screams for them to wait, she is his! And Daphne pulls the trigger, hitting Carrie in the head. Daisy runs over to bring Cliffy back, and Daphne tells everyone, all right, everyone back in the van. There might be more of those things. Cliffy says that she's dead, and Daisy tells him that's right. The monster's dead. They can't hurt him now. As the Mr. Machine pulls up to the paper mill in snowy Spring Green, Wisconsin, Shaggy asks Velma if she's sure that this is the right place. Velma leads Shaggy into the mill, stating that of course it is. It was a top secret installation called the Athena Center. This is where the complex kept their cloud servers and backups for all of the data. Cheeves gave her a tour shortly after she agreed to help her brothers. Shaggy then stops for a moment and asks, wait, your brother's name was Cheeves? First Rufus and now Cheeves? What are your parents even thinking with those names? Velma stares at Shaggy and stating, you're one to talk, Norville. A short while later, Velma punches the security code into the wall terminal and a door swings open. Shaggy holds up his gun stating, all right, I got your back. Why did you bring me and not Daphne? Velma tells him it's because Daphne can be a little quick to shoot things. If they encounter a stray cat, they may end up shooting the place and destroying the data that they need. Back outside, Cliffy sits alone, asking if he's waiting for something. Daisy asks why is he out here in the cold, and Cliffy says that he's got nothing to do. Scoob says, looking for Rappy? And Cliffy sighs, stating, yeah. I know it's dumb, but no one actually saw Scrappy-Doo die, right? That means that he might still be out there looking for us. If anybody could survive, it could be Scrappy. Daisy tells him it's nice to hope, but they also need to accept that it's possible that they may never see him again. Isn't that right, Scooby? Scooby says, ruh-uh, Rappy will be back. Rada have faith. In the Mr. Machine, Fred asks if they can hear that. The talking dog told the one-armed kid that he needs faith. Feels like we're stuck inside of a Lewis Carroll story. Are you guys even listening back there? Daphne tells him no, she's busy searching the web. It's strange how many sites are still up and running after everything is all gone. Another thing is the date. It's Christmas Eve. Before Daphne could go on, Shaggy opens up the back door and he realizes something down there. Daphne asks, was it that he realized that they would be safer with her up here? And Daphne then grabs her gun, hopping out, but as her and Shaggy walk back to the facility, Shaggy mentions that he told Velma to stay at the entrance and wait for them. Daphne and Shaggy hurry down into the lower levels, and after spotting a decomposing monster, they begin to hear a ticka-ticka-ticka. The two ready their guns and they move into the next room to find Velma sitting at the computer typing away. Daphne walks up to Velma, smacking her in the back of the head, shouting that Shaggy told her to stay at the entrance. This place could be crawling with monsters. She fixes her glasses and states that perhaps curiosity got the better of her. She was anxious to begin sorting through Athena's files, but yes, she should have waited. Daphne then yells that she's got some nerve, saying that she was right. How is she supposed to stay mad at her? Velma turns back to the computer, stating that she doesn't want to sound insensitive or anything, but she really needs to be left alone to concentrate. This could take a while. Back outside, Cliffy walks with Scoob, telling him that he doesn't understand why Daphne did it. Carrie, she looked like a monster, but she wasn't like the others. She was lonely. Scoob tells him, no, Ryan to protect you. And Cliffy says that he guesses, but she could have just waited a minute. As Cliffy goes on, he sits down, stating that he doesn't know anymore. All of his running, always afraid, he just misses the way that life used to be. Down at the facility, Daphne and Shaggy sit down and they talk when they suddenly notice Velma's typing has stopped. A few moments later, she walks out with her head hanging, stating that they need to get everyone together. She'll tell them what she found. Once everyone begins to walk outside, they see a small Christmas tree. And Fred says that he knows that it's not a traditional tree. Cliffy looks at it and says actually he kind of likes it. And Daisy then asks, anyone up for some Christmas carols then? As Velma and the rest walk up, Velma heads straight into the mystery machine and there's a loud smash. She leans back out, throwing the broken laptop into the snow, and Daphne asks what's going on. Whatever it is, she can tell them. She says that she scoured the Project Elysium files. There's a glitch in the nanites. Somehow they became autonomous and started initiating their own program. That's what started the plague, but after running dozens of models, there is no way to reverse the contagion. The horrifying conclusion is, the plague is irreversible. Merry Christmas. With that news, the gang then continues their journey east, reaching the Henry Hudson Mall in Albany, New York. Outside, the mall creatures crawl around, and Shaggy asks if they're really going in there. Velma says yes, to which Daphne talks over her, telling everyone no. And Shaggy says, well, that clears that up. Daphne then says that they've been traveling for 2 months, knowing that they have no way of curing the plague. All they can do now is just try to survive. Velma tells her that it is exactly what they're going to try to do, and inside the mall, they'll be able to find enough supplies to keep going indefinitely. They need to set up a base of operations so that if there are any survivors out there, they'll have a place to go. Daphne asks, what are they trying to rebuild? They are the only survivors. It's just a matter of time before those things out there finally take them out. Velma looks back out at the parking lot, stating that she's been thinking about this since they left the Athena Center. The time is right and the future is theirs to shape. Daphne then asks if she's serious, and Velma says yes, and Daphne tells her fine. She's in. While everyone begins to discuss exactly how they would even attempt to get into the mall, Cliffy asks, couldn't they just go through the sewer system? Everyone stops and Velma says that it is a viable idea. She's actually impressed. And Cliffy tells her that he really can't take credit for it, he just saw it in a movie once. Daphne shouts that they can't be serious. And Shaggy then says, considering that none of them have had a shower in weeks, how bad could it really be? After getting the blueprints from the city hall, a rather heated conversation of who will be the ones to secure a path to the mall begins. Daphne and Fred decide that they're going to head into the sewers. As Fred steps down the ladder, Daphne asks why is he here, and Fred tells her that he thought the sewer would be a perfect place to propose. Daphne yells, how many times does she have to? And Fred shouts back, it's a joke! Sort of. As the two begin to head into the tunnels, Daphne asks, what does it say? And Fred says, oh no, it looks like we should have branched off back there. She sighs, and Fred yells, it's hard to read Velma's scrawl, it's scribbled on here. The two double back and they find a branching tunnel and they begin to crawl into it, and just as Daphne reaches the next opening, she gasps. Fred asks her what's wrong, and Daphne quickly whips around, grabbing Fred by the mouth, telling him to be quiet, they're not alone. Down in the opening is a series of pieced-together homes made by the homeless themselves crawling around the area. Fred then quickly calls back to Velma to see what they should do next, and Velma tells them to turn around. As they talk, Daphne points to an opening and says that it should bring them straight into the mall. Velma overhears Daphne and yells, no, we need to turn around and get back as soon as possible. Fred whispers that this is Daphne they're talking about, they'll call later. You know, if they're still alive. As he hangs up the phone, Daphne begins to scoot across the pipe, hanging over the monsters, and as she gets to the end, she motions for Fred to come. As he begins to crawl out, there's a loud crack, and the pipe that Daphne is crawling on falls apart. Fred shouts that he's coming, and Daphne calls back to not even think about it, and then starts spraying the monsters with bullets. Through the bursts of fire, Daphne yells to Fred to just get out of here, and Fred opens fire, shouting, please, I haven't left your side since college. He jumps down, and Daphne tells him that he may be an idiot, but he's her idiot. And Fred then says, does that mean you finally say yes? She then asks what the hell is wrong with him. Why are we even talking about this? Just hurry back to the opening. The two begin to run to the stairs into the mall, and Fred stops and asks Daphne if she can hear it. She stops asking what, and Fred says the monsters. They stopped following, which begs the question, why aren't they following? Are they afraid of something that could be inside of the mall, or maybe they know another way into the mall that's behind that door? Daphne says there's only one way to find out, and Fred asks, are we going in? And Daphne yells, oh yeah, we're definitely going in. And there you have it, more of the Scooby Apocalypse storyline. I'm not gonna lie, I thought this was gonna be the dumbest thing in the world, and I find myself reading it almost every week that it comes out. If I don't read it that week, I like store up the reissues and read the whole thing. Who would have thought Scooby-Doo, in a world with talking dogs and monsters being real, would be interesting? Did you think it? In the comments down below, let me know, legitly, when you heard this announcement, were you excited or confused? Because I was confused. That was my opinion on it. Follow us on Facebook, facebook.com/EligibleMonster. We share it with our gaming channel. Oh yeah, we have a gaming channel. If you're still watching this, please go check it out, Eligible Monster. We do like podcasting and discussions and stuff like that. It's a lot of fun. We like video games, almost like Scooby Apocalypse.